Hello, my name is Sophia Garantiva, Planning Commission staff, and I will be narrating the unincorporated Hillsborough County Urban Service Area Expansion Phase 2 RFP recorded question session. The following questions were received via email by February 10th, 2025. Please note, proposals must be submitted electronically to the Planning Commission offices on or before February 24th, 2025 by 5 p.m. Question 1. Can we include consultants that are not on the Planning Commission's approved provider list as subs on our team? The answer is yes, you may include sub-consultants in your proposal that are not approved providers. Sub-consultants are not required to fill out the consultant or service provider information form. Do we need to resubmit the service provider forms as listed in the RFP requirements number 9 if our firm is already on the approved consultant service provider list 2024 through 2026? The answer is no. If you are a current approved provider, you do not need to resubmit the consultant or service provider information form. To check your status as a provider, please contact Sharon Snyder at snyders@plancom.org. Should the Exhibit A cost attachment be a separate file, and if so, does it count towards the 30-page limit, or should it be a separate section within the main proposal? Answer is a separate file is not required for Exhibit A. Exhibit A is included in the 30-page limit. Question 4. Is it your intention that the optional services identified in the scope are to be provided under the $350,000 limit? If we propose to complete the optional services identified in the scope, do we need to provide a cost estimate for each optional service? The answer is optional services may or may not be included within the $350,000 budget. If you propose to include optional services within the $350,000 budget or outside of that budget, a similar cost estimate is expected. For the last sentence in the miscellaneous section, number 5, we would like to clarify if each sub-consultant firm needs to be at 10% participation rate or if it is a collective 10% sub-consultant participation rate if we have multiple sub-consultant firms. For example, if we have 4 sub-consultants, they would get 40% of the contract, or together the participation of the 4 sub-consultants could total at least 10%. The answer is cumulative sub-consultant participation rate shall be at least 10%. Question 6. Is the end date of August 31st, 2026 a hard deadline if the notice to proceed is pushed later and an 18-month timeframe feasible? Answer: the 18-month deadline is contingent on the start date associated with the notice to proceed. On page 2 of the RFP, under RFP requirements, item 9 references a consultant or service provider information form that must be completed and submitted with the proposal. The provided link directs to the RFQ for the approved consultant service provider list, which outlines 5 specific requirements for that solicitation, including a link to the provider form. Could you confirm whether proposers under the current RFP must also submit all 5 requirements from the GPC RFQ in addition to the 9 requirements specified in the USA RFP? Answer: if you are a current service provider, you do not need to resubmit the consultant or service provider information form. To check your status as a provider, please contact Sharon Snyder at snyders@plancom.org. If you are not an approved provider, please submit a complete consultant or service provider information form. Being an approved provider is not a prerequisite to being awarded a contract. No requirement exists to be an approved provider. Is it the Planning Commission's expectation that all optional tasks, subtasks must be accommodated within the stated 18-month contract period and within the stated $350,000 fee limitation? The answer is optional tasks may begin or may not begin during the 18-month phase and be completed during or after this initial 18-month phase. Question 9. Is it the Planning Commission's expectation that all optional services be shown with a price proposal and projected schedule? Answer: all optional tasks should be shown in relation to both time and price to those tasks that the scope requires. And with that, that concludes our recorded question session. Thank you.